Hello everyone, welcome to another live hangout. I am so pleased you've been able to join me. What for me is midday-ish on a Monday the 7th of March. But for so many of you, it's your end of your weekend. I hope you've had a great weekend, a restful weekend, and that you've been able to, where possible, recuperate a little. And what we here in my part of the world, as we know, the Ukrainian thing is just. I was just watching the news before I jumped on, and it's just unthinkable misery that the Ukrainians are being dragged through at the moment. And our thoughts are with the Ukrainians as they endure what is just terrible. We here in my local area, here on the sort of eastern seaboard of Australia, particularly in the southeast Queensland area, sort of the wider area of where Brisbane is, and down into the northern rivers where I grew up of New South Wales, we have been enduring really significant floods, and just, I think everyone's just so exhausted at the moment that things are just, really, there's a lot of people doing it really tough at the moment. And look, I suspect that if you're one of those people who has been impacted by the floods locally, or, dare I say, the Ukrainian issues, that you're not watching this show, certainly not live right now. But I just want to do a shout out to all of you. No matter what you're going through right now, our thoughts are with you. I know that's a pretty, it's a platitude, and I understand that. But at times like this, it's so important that we know that that there are people thinking of us, if nothing else. And I hope that you're able to get the support that you need. I got an email through from a student who will be starting with me in the next couple of weeks, who was just suggesting that we go looking for opportunities to give to aid organisations. And he made the recommendation of a particular aid organisation. I'm going to stop short of telling you or where to give your money or how much or any of that. I just want to leave you with the thought of considering that as an option. And Andre, I thank you for the suggestion that we go to the Voice Essentials community with that thought, and I do want to endorse that idea that we respond to others' needs with a sense of generosity, if possible. There you go. That's one that's one way to start a show, isn't it? And an important one, it must be said. Next week, let's move into some singing things. Next week we have my very, very, very good friend Geoffrey Ashenden joining us on the show. Geoffrey is one of those people in my life. You know how you have those people in your life that you don't have to see them, every week, every month. And in the case of Geoffrey and I, we had not had the opportunity to catch up one-on-one in the same room for I think we equated it to about 2 years. But you know how you've got those people in your life where time's not a thing. Like, we just picked up where we left off. Well, Geoffrey is one of those people in my life where we have such a rich history of friendship, both personal, private and professional, that you know what? It's an embarrassment to me that I have not had Geoffrey on the show prior to now. I mean, we've been doing this live show now for I don't know, years, and Geoffrey is just, you're gonna love listening to Geoffrey. Mackenzie Kate, you have to be in next week's show. I tell you why, because Geoffrey is a music theatre expert, and I do not use that term lightly. Geoffrey is not only is he an incredibly skilled pedagogue, but he is also a highly accomplished pianist. This man, I mean, he's just he's amazing. And I don't just and he's, you know, even if he wasn't amazing, you know, at piano and voice, he is the most humble human being you will ever have the chance to meet. I want you to join me next week when we talk tone and technique. And Geoffrey said, "Oh, why did you choose that?" And I said, "Because it gives us kind of the scope to go anywhere." And so we could, next week's show could go anywhere. And the reason being is because Geoffrey has that capacity to talk to anything about voice, about accompaniment, about music theatre. He is the bomb. So join me next week. Some of you, I'm so gratefully overwhelmed with the response to Dr. Dan's Singer's Starting Guide. I did a sneaky thing. I released the Singer's Starting Guide on Friday last week. I wasn't going to release it until today, but I sort of did a soft pre-launch release on Friday, and it didn't take long for people to start grabbing the pre-launch discount. And what I'm talking about, for those of you who may not have seen, let me see if I can get rid of this. And so this is what I'm talking about. So this is the web page. Now I've put a link in the description section of this video, and this is the web page that you will be taken to, and this is what we're talking about. This is my brand new course, and someone emailed me the other day saying, "Oh, you know, what should I buy? Like, what is it? Is it a fourth course? Is it because as you know, we already have Voice Essentials 1, 2, and 3." And I said to this person, you can kind of think of this as the prequel to the trilogy. Yeah, so it's almost like your Hobbit to the Lord of the Rings, if that makes any sense to you. And I think like the Blade Runner, not the Blade Runner, what is it? The Maze Runner series did kind of a similar thing. So this is a course. Now, if you've already done 1, 2, or 3, it's not as if you can't go and do this course. When I read the Maze Runner, I read 1, 2, and 3, and then went back and read the prequel. In fact, it actually worked out better that way, as far as the reading of that novel series goes. Well, this course is it's everything it's literally everything I wish I had have known before I started learning to sing. And so we go through so much. Let me just slide down here and I'll show you. Where am I going? Slide down here and I'll I don't want that. I want to go back here. Slide down. Oh, dearie me, where am I going? I'll come back over here and I'll go to here. I must have hit the wrong buttons. So come down here. Now there's a little bit of a video. You can jump in there and have a little bit of a squiz. And I introduce, that's all live. I introduce the program. This sort of gives you an overview of what we go into. There's 5 modules, and the first module, we really kind of dissect, well, what is this singing thing? And for absolute beginners, people, and I get questions about this on the YouTube channel all the time, and it's kind of what seeded, the genesis of this course is, I don't even know how to sing a note. Like when you say sing this note, like I don't even know how to do that. And so I've literally in module 1, I've unpacked that. That's not all that module 1 does, but if, there's going to be a lot of you watching today's show who that's probably not where you're going to start. But, well, I'm sure you'll still do module 1. but really the body, the big body of voice of the course is found in modules 2 and modules 3, where I have delivered they are half-hour 30-minute videos. The first one being vocal anatomy, where you are going to learn about your voice. Let me bring you over to here. I'm going to give you a sneak preview now. Because this is a pre-launch discount that you can get, so it's going to be normally $197, but until next Monday, March the 13th, my time, Australian Eastern Standard Time, until 11:59 p.m. And so I'll remind you again about it next week. You can get the course for 97 Australian dollars. So it's $100 off what is going to be charged literally from the next day. So I want you to get the savings. As supporters of the channel, I want you to be able to get this at the cheaper price. So let me just bring you over here. I'm going to give you a sneak peek into the course. When you do get access to it, it's going to look like this. And so you can see it's all ready to go. In fact, the only things now missing that are being currently designed is some infographics. So there's going to be downloadable infographics for module 1, 4, and 5. And for module 2 and 3, there is going to be multi-page e-booklets for both modules. And so I have jam-packed so much university level information in an accessible, understandable way. Don't freak out, don't freak out. But I'm wanting to give you information that will empower your vocal development. And so the first module, as I said, what is singing? We get into that. And then for those of you, and this is the platform that all of my courses are built in, and they all look like this. They all run like this. If you come down here, you're going to see, so this is Vocal Anatomy 101, and we really get into it. And what I can show you is I've not only, I've delivered these 30-minute videos in Module 2 and Module 3. I've delivered them in a webinar format. The reason I've done that is because when I looked at the amount of information I wanted to get across to you all, I thought, dear me, how am I gonna, like if I do this as like 5-10 minute videos, this will be like a 20 module course. And I thought, no, I don't want to drown people in modules. So how do I get all of this information across? So I've done them as like a webinar format for those of you. We're kind of right now, we're doing a webinar format with the screen just there and me on the screen. But what I've also done is supplied you with why are we like that? Oh, I know why. So we can come back all the way. So I've actually put up all of the PowerPoint slides. And so this would be Vocal Anatomy 101, and then you're going to have the slide. Now, that's just for your use at a later time for you to revise. But the videos have all of these embedded into them. I'm telling you, I have, I actually, as I have to, once I'd edited the videos and uploaded them, once I'd edited them, I then revised them, as you would expect me to check them, for editing corrections, etc. I was super excited after having rewatched both of these videos. I was really excited at just the amount of information I'm going to be able to get to you. And I'm excited because I know how much this information benefited me and my vocal development. There came a time when I was at university, there came a time when I enrolled in a course called vocal pedagogy, and it was a course in teaching people to sing. But a big part of the course was looking into these subjects: vocal anatomy, voice care, how do I construct a warm-up, and then it also went into how to teach singing, and the value of those classes, run by a lady by the name of Adele Nisbet, who I will be forever indebted to. The value of those classes to me as a singer and to me as a singing teacher was, I cannot communicate just how much benefit it gave me. And so I want you to have that same benefit. It's the more you empower your brain with the information, then the better able your body is able to process and develop your voice. And I are you picking up? I'm a little excited, and it's funny, because I released Voice Essentials 1, Voice Essentials 2 and 3, and the technical development of your voice is so important, but this is the course I wish I had released first, because I want this to be the foundation of what you then go on to do. Now, again, if you've already done Voice Essentials 1, 2 and 3, that's completely fine. Remember, I'd been learning voice at the Conservatorium of Music here in Queensland for 5-6 years before I did the pedagogy course. So it's not as if there's not value. In fact, it may even be, even more value that the things that we talk to in the course, you'll have an understanding of, because you'll have that, lived experience with your singing. So anyway, I just wanted to remind you. So the special discount for that does go through till the end of next Monday. So you do have a whole week to grab it for 97 Australian dollars. But I do want to just impress upon you, because some people are a bit cheeky. When I've done this before with the pre-launch of some of my courses, I'll get an email the next day going, I missed it. Look, you'll have had 9 days to purchase this. So there is going to be a cutoff next Monday, 11:59, well, basically midnight. And I want you to grab it. The other thing too is if you haven't got any of my online courses until the end of March, so it's a little bit longer. I'm going to give it a little bit longer. You can grab the entire Pro bundle for $497. So Australian dollars, $497, and the whole thing is included. Remember, all of the online courses are $197, so that's nearly $800 you're getting for $497. But that price is going to go up to $597 from the start of April, and that April 4th is where I've got a growing confidence that we are going to launch Dr. Dan's Singer's Starting Guide on Monday, April 4. Okay, so there you go. I'm excited. I'm excited. Do you know what I'm really looking forward to is getting your feedback as to the value that you've been able to garner from doing the course. So I'm just a little excited. Okay, we need to get into some Q&A today, because that's really what today's show is going to be all about. So let's do it. Okay, so I can already see a super chat there from Evo. Thanks, Evo. Evo's a long time watcher of the show. Thank you. And he throws in there, much love, Doc. So the key, Evo knows that if you put a super chat in, I will prioritize your question. Otherwise, what I'll be doing is just going through as the questions come in. And so, for example, Terry, otherwise known as Scuba Girls of Georgia, will be the first question after Evo. And all of those super chats they all go to the support of the channel, and as I've discussed before, it's not a cheap thing to run a YouTube channel, and so all of your super chats are gratefully received. And Evo has given us many super chats over the years, and he's just given us another one. So Evo says, I recommend you lay off the news a bit, but also not afraid to say I miss your positivity, expertise, and awesome experience. See you for a lesson soon. Yeah. Evo, you're quite right, because a couple of, at beginning of last week, probably Monday night, actually last week, my wife and I, Jodie and I, made a family decision that the TV was going off. We were not going to be watching the news because, there comes a point where you've just got to take a break. Not go and stick your head in a bucket of sand, but, sometimes the news can be a little bit overwhelming, and it's important that we remain engaged in our world, but equally it's important that you know when to just take a step back. And last week we took a step back. In fact, we did that a couple of times through the week. And so yes, Evo, I concur, my friend. I certainly believe that, and I too am looking forward to our next lesson together. Okay, let's get to Terry's question. Scuba Girls of Georgia. So, and I saw this question earlier, and this is such a great question. How does significant weight loss impact the voice? So how do I continue to protect and improve my voice while going through such dramatic change? Well, first, Scuba Girl, what I do want to say to you is, if you are on a journey of weight loss, which I take it from your question that you are, I think that's fantastic. And now, not because, and I know you, Scuba Girl, so not because I, ever had a thought that you needed to, but if that's the choice that you've made, then that's terrific, and I really support you. And I know you're passionate about your health and your general well-being, and that's something that we all need to do. So when it comes to weight loss, there can be an impact on the voice, and that can be simply because when we have a reduction of weight, we tend, and everyone carries their weight differently. Men are, we will, a lot of men will carry their weight around their midriff. Some people will carry it in their bottom, some people carry it in their legs. But that being said, there will be a general distribution of additional weight throughout the body, and some of that additional weight bearing can be through shoulders and up into the neck, even through the vocal tract. And it doesn't have to be a lot of extra weight for there to be an impact on the ability of the vocal tract to be responsive and to change shape for tonal development, etc. So often, and over the years, I've had a number of students who have gone through significant weight loss over the time that they've been having lessons with me, or I've had a student who has joined me like immediately after they've gone through significant weight loss. And generally, the main thing that a student will report is a sensory awareness that things are different. And part of that will come from a sense of reduction, and this is almost going to be a double entendre, a sense of reduction of weight in the voice, because the more fatty deposits that we have distributed through the vocal tract, through the vocal tract wall, then and the more muscular toning we gain as a reduce of that fatty deposit, then the tone it changes. You can think of the dampening effect that a higher level of fatty concentrate through the vocal tract wall, that is going to have an impact to how the tone is developed. And so you will experience, certainly my observation is that, a lot of people have experienced change and they hear it as well as feel it. Everyone's experience of this is unique. And, the other thing too is that because your body mass is going to change when we lose significant weight, then we start to experience our body mind, the kinesthetic awareness requires some adjustment also. And so this is, it is of great benefit to walk this journey with a singing teacher, and I don't say that with any sense of pressure, Scuba Girl, because I know we have lessons together, and I look forward to when we can start those again. So it wasn't a pressure statement by any means, but it can be of great benefit to walk this journey with someone who can help you along the way, and that you can reflect your experiences too and learn to discern what it is that you're experiencing, because not everything you're going to experience in your voice and vocal development while you are undergoing significant weight loss will be as a result of the significant weight loss. And it's learning to differentiate and identify those things. So I hope that helps. Oh, there's an additional comment here. My upper register feels easier to access. Does that make sense? Yes, it may well make sense, because in reducing the level of fatty deposits, within our vocal system, then that means that we're reducing the potential mass of the vocal folds, which may in turn permit them to be elongated and thinned a little bit more, which will then in turn give, it's likely that would give you greater access into your upper register. So yes, it absolutely makes sense. I hope that's helpful. Okay, Quang Fam, hey Dan, how can I sing perfectly on pitch? Well, Quang, you become a robot is how you sing perfectly on pitch. And I know I'm being facetious. We've discussed this many times, and in fact, we go into this in Voice Essentials, the Dr. Dan's Singer's Starting Guide in Module 1, Quang. So I'd encourage you to have a check of that. Check that out. Perfect pitch is an unattainable goal for a biological human instrument. What we can learn to do is refine our pitch accuracy so our hit to miss ratio improves significantly. But to have perfect pitch 100% of the time, and perfect to me usually means 100%, that's impossible. No human being can do that, and no human being should be placing that kind of stress on themselves, because it is a completely unrealistic expectation. As far as developing an improvement of your pitch, courses like mine, the Voice Essentials 1 online course and into 2 and 3, are going to really develop your pitch accuracy by helping you to drill notes. How does a archery, like an archer or a dart thrower, improve their ability to hit the bullseye? Well, they just stand there and they, one after the other, throw the dart or fire the arrow, and it takes time and a lot of practice. And it's the same with voice. But even in those I don't think I've ever used those as an illustration before, but even in using those as an illustration, we would never expect that a dart player or a or someone who's shooting an arrow, or someone who is doing target like clay pigeon shooting, it would be unrealistic for anyone to expect anyone else to hit those targets 100% of the time. Now, of course, immediately you may have had a thought, hey, well, yeah, but there are times in the Olympics where they get 10 out of 10. Yeah, that's very true. But every other Olympian around them in that same competition didn't get a 10 out of 10. And the next time that same person fronts up to do another competition, they won't get 10 out of 10. See what I mean? It's not 100% of the time. So, there are times where we can have a great day in front of the mic and we are so on point and we just nail every note and it's seemingly perfect. Enjoy those moments when they happen, because they don't happen often. They're wonderful when they do. And so this is not about, what we look to achieve here at Voice Essentials is not about developing the perfect voice. It's about developing a voice that is equipped for communication and for you to be able to let your voice sing in a way that gives you the freedom of expression. That's what we're aiming for. And developing your pitch accuracy along the way is most definitely helpful. Miss Amethyst Tarot, I have a soft and quiet singing voice, but I want to sing rock. How can I learn to sing louder? That is, how can a soft and quiet voice learn rock? Well, great question. In fact, I taught 2 lessons this morning. I've already taught 3 lessons today. And the second 2 lessons, it was my one of a student on the Gold Coast online and one of the students in here. In both of those lessons, we were looking at belt. And belt is a really important method in learning to sing with volume. Now, the voice will often want to go about developing belt with a yell function. And it's really important to learn the difference between a yell and a belt. And we go into this in some depth in Voice Essentials 1, Miss Amethyst, but you can also check out some videos on my channel about the subject of belt, and I unpack it for you in some of those videos on the channel as well. So I'd encourage you to go and check that out. Franny Dimitri says, I can sing pretty good on my own, but cannot even try with anyone present. It's perplexing because I am very confident in all other areas of public situations. Any advice, please? It's an interesting thing, learning to sing in front of people. I once heard it said that, public speaking is feared more than death by some people. I would go the step further and say singing in public is even more feared by many people. And I think it's in part because of that which we in Western cultures have assigned or attached to this singing thing and this expectation for perfect pitch, as we were talking about just before. And so there is a process, Franny, that I think it's important for us to go through, and it's one of part desensitization, so it's exposure therapy, for the want of a better word, but it's doing that with the support of a singing teacher. And the reason why I'm advocating for the support of a singing teacher is because when you're working with a singing teacher, they're providing you that encouraging feedback. And as you are getting that feedback and the teacher's telling you, how to develop and what to change and what you can do differently, you're gaining that development of expertise and that builds confidence. And in doing so, you start to go, okay, I'm getting a bit of a better handle on this. And so when you do then come to singing publicly, you're not just stepping onto the stage and opening your mouth and hoping for the best. You actually have been equipped with some knowledge that when you do open your mouth to start singing the verse or the chorus, you can have a sense of confidence that you know what the voice is going to give you. And I cannot tell you just how important that is in the development of your performance craft. I often say to students, we can learn a lot of stuff here in the studio or with my online students. We can learn a lot. We can learn technique, we can learn musicianship, we can talk about performance, but performance is something that you kind of got to do repeatedly to develop it. And even, when students are singing in the studio with me here, there is a form, that is a form of performance. But I like to think that all of my students know that that's a form of performance that comes with no expectations other than we are, doing the task. But when we obviously step onto a stage, then we know that performance comes with a whole range of other expectations that we have placed on ourselves and that we perceive are being placed on us from others, that is the audience. So I encourage you, Franny, to take opportunity firstly to get some singing lessons if you can. And if you can't, then the Voice Essentials community here through the Facebook community, which I encourage you to be a part of, but also doing my online courses, you'll build confidence in what you're doing that way. And then, hopefully also with a teacher, but then to take the opportunities, start small, take the opportunities to then perform, and don't place any expectations on yourself other than stepping up and doing it. And for the first number of times, that's the only box that you need to tick. And when you hop off, don't make a reflection of, was that good, bad, or ugly? No, just go tick, done. I did it. That's what you want to be able to do to start. And then as you become a little bit more exposed to the experience, as that heightened, sense of anxiety starts to subside, then you can start to make some qualitative reflections on what you're doing. If the anxiety doesn't subside, and in fact, more often than not, when that's the case, the anxiety simply escalates with a number of experiences, that can be an indicator that you might like to talk to a therapist, a psychologist, about that, because there might be something else there that you're not even, consciously aware of, that you might want to talk to someone, and a skilled psychologist, a clinical psychologist, can be a good person to do that with. We are going to, how are we going for, oh dear, we're not going to get through all of those questions. Mackenzie Kate, my question, is there time? How do I rehabilitate my singing voice after vocal fold surgery? Mackenzie, I thought we'd already talked about this. I've got a video about that very subject on the channel, Mackenzie. So can I encourage you to go over and have a look at how to recover my voice after surgery or something. Now that I've said all of that, I know that Linda will tomorrow morning go looking for that and she's gonna, and I'll put it in the description section. Well, Linda will ultimately find that video. She'll give me the link. We'll put it into the description section. It'll be there from midday tomorrow, Mackenzie, if you can't find it. Yeah, there we go. Abner Evalo? Abner. Let's just go with Abner. When I sing, usually when I go to higher notes, I feel my throat contracting or making an effort to the point where it doesn't hurt, but it feels uncomfortable. How can I make it not feel that way? More often than not, and we can never be categorical and say every time, but more often than not, that sense of contraction, particularly, and the giveaway is when you're singing higher, is because the voice wants to increase its air pressure. When I say the voice, I'm talking about your entire body. The voice wants to increase air pressure, and that then only escalates, intensifies the contraction of the vocal tract and the larynx itself, trying to hold that pressure back, and that just gets tighter and tighter. Now, the fact that you're not feeling that you say it's making an effort to the point where it doesn't hurt, well, I'm glad it doesn't hurt, but it doesn't. But it equally doesn't need to feel uncomfortable either. If you learn how to go into your upper register with less pressure. And can I also say that it may not hurt now, and that might be because I don't know you, Abner, so I don't know how old you are or what your gender is or any of that, but it may not hurt now, but in time it could. And so I'd rather you learn the better way, the more efficient way, the more sustainable way now than find yourself in some hot water in the future. So can I encourage you, go and check out my channel. There's a whole range of, there's over 600 videos now, would you believe, on the channel. And we really do, deep dive into this whole area in Voice Essentials 1, which actually, can I show you something? I want to show you that I also have. Let's see if I can jump over here. So for those of you who have not purchased any of the courses, so you can grab the Pro bundle, so you can do that, and that's the $4.97. But I've also created a beginner singer bundle, which is a bundling of Voice Essentials 1 singing course with Dr. Dan's Singer's Starting Guide. And so you can grab that as a bundle also, where, so you don't have to buy the whole Pro bundle. You can just get the first 2 courses in a sense, and that way, and Abner, that may be a really positive option for you, because you're going to be able to really start to develop the technical aspects of your voice, as well as learn about your voice and what have you. And that's coming all the way down here, all the way down here, all the way down here, da 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 da. And how much is that? That's $297 for the 2 courses bundled together. And you can grab that now. You just won't have access to the Singer's Starting Guide just yet. Okay, so, hang on a second. Where am I going? I'm going to come back over here. Oh, I think that's worked. Okay, we're going to go one more question. Because then I'm going to have to go and teach. Noah B has asked, hey, Dr. Dan, avid viewer and proud subscriber. Thank you, Noah B. I have severe tension and strain habits. I've tried to fix it with exercises for years, but it won't stop. Anything you can think of that could help. And do you know what? Honestly, Noah, I'd be directing you, sight unseen, I'd be directing you back to what I've just said to Abner. About pressure. And, it's often when I'm working with students, and in fact, this was the case with my professional student this morning. She's actually a singing teacher herself. She's, but she's also a working singer. And we're really working on reducing her sense of pressure. And what's really interesting, and I see this a lot, is her perception has been desensitized to that level of pressure because it has become her normal, and that's so normal. I see singers, because they are so used to feeling the voice under pressure, that when we start to reduce that pressure and get it back and it can be so surprising to singers to learn just how little pressure is needed. And so that's a real journey of adjustment that a lot of singers need to go through. Again, Noah, I can't speak specifically to your situation, because we would need to do some one-on-one work for me to get right down into the nitty-gritty. But again, sight unseen, I just come back to the pressure issue. It's about reducing that tension and strain via the reduction of air pressure. Maintenance of airflow, but reduction of pressure. Another Q&A. There we go. I'm so pleased that you're able to join me today. I just want to reiterate my heartfelt concern for those in my local area with the floods, and also for the world in general with what's happening with Ukraine. And I do wish everyone safety, and that's first and foremost. Don't forget to grab the special for the Singer's Starting Guide if you think that's going to be of benefit. I know it will be of benefit to you, so I hope you grab a copy before next week, the start of next week. So I'll remind you again next Monday, but by that stage you'll only have hours to grab it, not like we have right now. You've got days, but yes, grab it while you've got days. Don't leave it to the last minute. But otherwise, I do look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, we're going to have Geoffrey Ashenden on the show, affectionately known as Godfrey. And I call him Godfrey because he's a singing teacher god to me. He's, if I was to go and have a singing lesson, guess who I would go and see? I'd go and see Geoffrey. That's how good he is. And so I want to really encourage you to join me next week as he joins us for that show. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I want you to be a part of it. But for now, I hope you have a great week, and I very much look forward to seeing you next time, when you will hear me finish the show by saying, I'm Dr. Dan, sing well.